March 19, 1987, Bombay, India. Pratap Zaveri is mid-sale, weighing a customer's gold chain on his shop's brass scale, when the lights over the front counter go dark. Someone has hit the main switch. A second man yanks the telephone cord out of the wall, and across the showroom a call goes unanswered before it ever starts. Outside, a printed notice goes up on the glass door. CBI raid. Do not enter. Men in plain clothes move through his store with badges in their hands, and government warrants tucked under their arms. They don't shout. They don't smash a single display case. They work, methodically, calmly, like men who have done this 100 times, emptying a fortune in gold, jewelry, and rupees into sealed evidence bags. There's no shouting in this room, no glass breaking, none of the noise a robbery is supposed to make. Just the click of strongbox latches, the dry rustle of evidence bags, the scratch of a pen logging serial numbers into a leather-bound ledger, as if the entire afternoon were nothing but routine government business. Nobody resists. Not the floor manager who hands over the strongbox keys without being asked twice.
Thank you.
Not the licensed security guard who lowers his hand off his own holster. Not Zaveri himself, who watches his life's inventory disappear into a stranger's briefcase and tells himself this is simply what cooperating with the government looks like. By the time the bags are sealed, 26 men have carried $400,000 in gold and cash out the front door, in broad daylight, with the full cooperation of the man they're robbing. And not one of those 26 men is a criminal. They are job seekers, graduates, men who answered a classified ad 2 days ago, certain they were finally being let into the most prestigious institution in the country. They believe they are doing their duty. They have no idea they are the heist. The man who built them, who turned 26 patriots into 26 armed robbers without a single one of them noticing, will vanish within the hour, and he will leave every one of them behind to answer for it. How do you rob a guarded jewelry store with no weapon drawn and the willing cooperation of the owner? Why does the entire operation only need one classified ad and 48 hours to come together? And what kind of man hands a fortune to 26 strangers to carry out the door and walks away from all the credit? 2 days earlier, on March 17th, a man walks into the lobby of the Taj Intercontinental wearing a suit sharp enough to stop conversation. Mid-40s, spine straight, an ID badge bearing the Ashoka pillar clipped neatly to his breast pocket. He tells the front desk he needs a room for client interviews. He gives a name, Singh, and nothing else. No first name follows it. No agency. No number anyone could call to confirm any of it. Nobody at the Taj asks twice. Why would they? A man who looks like this, dressed like this, simply doesn't get questioned. He gets a room. That single detail is the closest thing to a crack in him. Within 48 hours, when one of his own recruits pushes for more information about the operation he's running, Singh's face will go cold and flat in under a second, and the interview will end without another word. He doesn't explain himself. He has never had to. Beyond that, there is nothing. No file on this man exists yet, and as it turns out, none ever will. He has no backstory in this story, not because nobody asked, but because he made certain nobody could. That absence isn't a gap in the case. It is the case. Across the city, in a one-room flat he shares with two cousins, a young graduate reads the classified section of the Times of India for the third time that morning. He has a degree. He has a stack of rejection letters thicker than the degree itself. He has a mother back home who tells the neighbors he's settling into a city job because the truth, 8 months of interviews that go nowhere, a wage he sends home shrinking every quarter, isn't something either of them wants said out loud. What he doesn't have, after all this time, is a job that lets him tell his parents he's become something. He circles a line buried between an ad for sales clerks and one for accountants. Dynamic graduates wanted. Intelligence officer post. Security officer post. No company name. No phone number. Just a room at the Taj and a window of time. He doesn't ask why a government agency would recruit out of a hotel suite instead of an office. He doesn't ask why there's no number to call and confirm any of it. He has wanted something this badly for too long to start asking questions now. That's his crack. And it's the same crack in 25 other men just like him. Underneath it sits the wound that will matter most by the end of this story. The first thing he pictures, the moment he believes he's gotten the job, is his father's voice on the phone, proud for the first time in longer than either of them would admit out loud. The next morning, the Taj's marble lobby fills with men just like him. Pressed shirts, borrowed ties, resumes nobody is going to read. Singh has rented a fourth-floor suite, the only arrangement the hotel would allow, after refusing to let him interview a crowd in the lobby, and he brings the candidates up in small groups of 3 or 4. He never once opens a resume. Instead, he asks the same 3 questions, in the same order, to every man who sits across from him. Are you prepared to work on classified missions? Can you follow orders without question or explanation? How far would you go to serve your country? Every man answers the same way. Yes, sir. Anything, sir. One candidate, bolder than the rest, asks what the job will actually involve. What department? What training? What pay? Singh's expression doesn't change so much as it closes. Thank you. We'll be in touch.
You may go now.
The interview is over before the man finishes his sentence. Another candidate barely speaks past pledging total obedience. Singh nods once. Report tomorrow. Further instructions will follow. A third man, sweating through his only good shirt, tries to fill the silence between questions by listing his college marks. Singh lets him finish, says nothing about any of it, and asks the same question again. How far would you go to serve your country? The man answers louder the second time, as if volume were the thing that had been missing. It's enough. He's in. By sundown, Singh has his 26. Not the most qualified 26. Not the sharpest, or the most capable, or the most experienced. The 26 who asked the fewest questions and said yes the fastest. He isn't building a unit. He's building a wall. 26 layers of yes sir, standing between Man Singh and the moment he'll need to disappear. Nobody in that hotel suite understands that yet, including, perhaps, the men doing the agreeing of their own free will, certain this is simply what a good officer sounds like. In a city of 20 million people, in 1987, a badge with a government seal, and a man who speaks with total certainty, are not things you question. You stand up straighter around them. You step out of their way. Nobody in Bombay is built to ask a man who looks like Singh for his credentials twice. And Singh has spent however long it took him to learn exactly how far that single fact can be stretched. Early morning, March 19th. The recruits assemble in the same suite at 11 o'clock. And Singh is waiting with something better than a paycheck. Identity cards. Crisp and laminated. Stamped with the national emblem and the words Central Bureau of Investigation. Probationary officer. He hands them out one at a time, with a single instruction. Wear these at all times during the mission. They are classified. As far as they know, in this moment, they have already arrived. They're intelligence officers now, however probationary, and everything from here is just procedure. Before noon, Singh briefs them on their first assignment. A mock raid. A final test exercise. On a jewelry showroom.
The address is
suspected
marked.
of years of tax evasion and undeclared
The location
assets.
is confirmed.
The
He
evidence
doesn't ask
gathered
them
against
to
the
imagine
target,
a criminal.
while complex,
He hands them
proves
one.
the absolute
A
necessity
welcome
of this
man,
operation.
he tells them.
You
who
are
has
the
been
best of
bleeding
us.
the nation dry for
This is what you
personal gain.
trained for.
Yes.
This is your chance
agreed.
to do your duty. Hit
We
the
will serve.
corrupt where it hurts. Nobody asks why a final test exercise involves a real jewelry store, a real address, and a warrant that looks remarkably official for a drill. Nobody asks why there's still no paperwork, beyond what Singh personally carries in his own briefcase. They have a badge, a villain, and a mission that finally makes every one of those rejection letters feel like it led somewhere. The last order is the smallest, and it's the one that matters most. Absolute secrecy, Singh tells them.
The
No one
confidentiality
outside
of this
this room
operation is
knows anything
paramount.
about this raid. 26
Yes, sir.
heads nod. Some grin at
It's
each
an
other,
honor, sir.
giddy with adrenaline. Others go quiet, steadying their nerves the way men do before something they believe is important. Nobody objects. Nobody walks out. There's no speech here. No fanfare. Just 26 men, flipping on a badge and agreeing to keep a secret, which turns out to be all Man Singh ever needed from any of them. The men file out to a tour bus, parked near the gateway of India. Air-conditioned, chrome trim, the kind that usually carries foreign tourists out to the Elephanta Caves. Today its cargo is 26 men, in plain clothes, trying to carry themselves like a federal task force. Singh stands at the front, scanning the rows for nerves. He finds none. He signals the driver. Inside, the air is electric. A few recruits run their fingers down the fake search warrant Singh handed out, mouthing the unfamiliar phrases. Tax evasion, undeclared assets, suspected smuggling ties, until they sound natural in their mouths. Two men near the back grin at each other and whisper, "This is it, our first mission." Near the window, the young graduate from the Times of India stares out at the city, sliding past, and silently composes the letter he plans to write his parents about his new career. Singh sits apart from all of it, a briefcase of forged paperwork and evidence seals balanced on his knees, his eyes moving over every face on the bus. One slip, one suspicious glance from an actual police officer, one recruit who breaks character at the wrong second, and the entire operation collapses before it begins. It doesn't happen. What happens instead is stranger. At a clogged intersection near Marine Drive, a traffic constable spots the bus, the rows of serious-looking men inside it, the placard propped against the windshield reading, "On government duty," and doesn't ask a single question. He snaps to attention and waves the bus through with a full salute. Singh watches it happen from his seat, and for the first time all morning, something close to a smile crosses his face. He has just turned one of Bombay's own traffic policemen into an unwitting accomplice, without a threat, without a single rupee changing hands, just by looking, completely, like he belonged exactly where he was. It's the clearest proof yet of the one fact his entire plan depends on. Nobody checks the man who looks certain he doesn't need to be checked. The bus rolls north into the crowded heart of South Bombay. Near Charni Road Station, Singh has the driver pull over and wait. This is as far as the tour goes. He leads his men out on foot, stopping along the way at Chowpatty Beach for cold drinks. It looks like a kindness. It's a final briefing in disguise. The men sip their soda warm in the afternoon heat, sand working into their dress shoes, while gulls wheel overhead, and vendors call out somewhere behind them, utterly indifferent
precise.
to the 26
Yes,
men
sir.
quietly rehearsing
Follow every
the crime.
instruction. There is
Standing
no
with
room
the
for
Arabian
error.
Sea at his back,
Understood.
Singh
You are assigned
walks
as point.
each man through his role one
You
more
cover
time,
extraction. You
watching
monitor
their
communications.
faces for any flicker of
No questions.
hesitation. He finds none of that either. At 2:15 p.m., he straightens his jacket. Showtime. The target is the Opera House branch of one of Bombay's most trusted jewelers, a name customers rely on the way they rely on a bank. The street outside is full of shoppers and office workers on their lunch break, and none of them so much as slow down as two recruits take position at the entrance, badges out, and tape a notice to the glass door. CBI raid. Do not enter. Singh walks in first, like a man who has done this 100 times, and the room freezes around him. A security guard reaches for his holster on instinct. A recruit shoves an ID card in his face before his hand gets there. Central Bureau of Investigation. Surprise raid. The guard's hand drops. He steps back. Across the showroom, customers mid-transaction simply go still, waiting to be told what to do, because the badges look real. The word
Violating a
looks
legal
real,
directive.
and the voice telling them to stay calm
This
sounds
premises
exactly
is
like
now
authority
under
is
my
supposed
authority.
to sound. Singh finds Pratik Zaveri stepping out of his back office, already pale. Are you Pradip Zaveri? The older man nods. I'm Officer Singh. Intelligence Department. We have a warrant to search these premises. He
You
produces
understand
a stamped
why this
document
must happen.
Zaveri never gets close enough
Cooperate,
to actually read.
and everyone
Don't
walks
panic,
away
Singh
unharmed.
tells him, his voice dropping
You
just
understand?
low enough to feel almost gentle. This is routine. If your books are
I
clean,
understand.
you have nothing to worry about. Zaveri never asks to examine the warrant. He never checks a single badge number against anything. What convinces him isn't the paperwork at all. It's the certainty in the man's voice. Certainty, it turns out, is the only weapon Man Singh actually needed to bring. 2:20 p.m. A recruit finds the fuse box and kills power to the security cameras. Another rips the telephone line out of the wall. No outgoing calls.
Open
A
it now.
third tells the floor manager, flat and unbothered, show me the vault and
Just
any
do as they
secured
say.
lockers. And the
Hurry up.
manager, watching his own employer comply without a fight, hurries to obey. Outside, the street traffic keeps moving past the notice on the door without a second look, except for one passerby who slows, frowning at it, before a recruit at the entrance straightens his badge and meets his eyes without blinking. The man hesitates a beat too long, glances once at the taped notice, then keeps walking. It's the closest the entire operation comes to unraveling, and nobody inside the showroom will ever know how close it actually was. 2:35 p.m. The strong box comes open. Bundles of rupees, still banded, smelling faintly of ink and handling. Bars of gold, catching the showroom light.
A recruit calls out to Singh, holding up a stack of notes like evidence at a trial, and Singh nods without breaking stride. Seal
Keep
it.
the pace up.
For the next 40 minutes,
Case by case.
the squad works the showroom case by case,
Copy that.
with a precision
Moving to
that
the
would be
next.
impressive in real government officers. Every necklace, every chain, every bar of gold gets logged in a ledger and sealed into evidence bags, stamped with serial numbers Singh had printed a week earlier. An employee even helps a recruit weigh the gold on the store's own scale, writing the figures down on a form Singh provided for exactly this purpose. The store's air conditioning hums on, oblivious. Somewhere outside, a horn blares and fades. Not one case gets smashed. Not one threatening word gets spoken. It looks less like a robbery than an audit, which is precisely the point. Violence draws attention. Paperwork earns trust. 3 p.m. The last briefcase clicks shut. $400,000 in gold, jewelry, and cash, cataloged and sealed inside a jewelry store, in broad daylight, with the full cooperation of the man who owns it. Singh straightens, scans the room, and gives his last order. We'll be moving this material off-site for analysis. He points to two recruits. You two, carry these to the bus. They lift the briefcases without hesitation and carry them out the front door. To the rest, he says only, hold this position until I return. I'm going to supervise another raid. Standard procedure. Nobody questions a senior officer running a second raid the
Very
same
well.
afternoon.
Thank you for your time.
He thanks Zaveri for his cooperation, promises to return shortly to finalize the paperwork, and steps out into the afternoon sun. Moments later, the bus pulls away from
Alright,
the
he's
curb
gone.
with Singh
Mission
and every
accomplished.
briefcase
Piece of
aboard,
cake.
and disappears around the corner. For a few
Wait,
minutes
why
after
hasn't
he's
he come
gone,
back in?
the men left behind are still
I
riding
told you
the
it
high
would
of
work.
it. One mutters to
Yeah.
another, half
did it.
laughing. Went well, huh?
Why does it feel so
Too
cold in
well,
here?
his partner says back, and they grin at each other. Certain Singh will return any minute with new orders, maybe even congratulations. 3:25 p.m. A recruit straightens a display case that doesn't need straightening, just to have something to do with his hands. Another paces a slow loop near the door, glancing out at the street every few seconds. 3:40 p.m. Minutes have become tens of minutes. The grins are gone. Zaveri shifts behind his counter, eyes fixed on the door. A recruit checks his watch for the third time and feels something tighten in his stomach he can't yet name. 3:55 p.m. Nobody is talking anymore. The showroom, full of strangers an hour ago, has gone almost completely silent. Just the hum of the air conditioning and the occasional creak of a shoe on marble as someone shifts their weight. 4 p.m. Someone finally says it out loud. Maybe we should call someone. He doesn't finish the sentence.
No, he's just running late.
Because by the time the
It's
words
4
leave
o'clock.
his mouth,
What do we do?
the truth is
Wait.
already moving through the room like something contagious. This was never a real raid.
Where is he?
And Singh was
What
never
happened?
coming back.
He's gone.
He never
He played
needed
us all.
26 capable men. He needed 26 men who wouldn't think to ask why their commanding officer was taking so long. Zaveri's voice cracks the silence. Furious now. Where is your boss?
Where
is
is
he
he?
coming back? Nobody
We don't
answers.
know, sir.
Because nobody
Find him
cares.
now.
One recruit, the same young man who once pictured his father's proud voice on the phone, rips the CBI badge off his shirt and slides down the wall, hands over his face. Another kicks a display case hard enough to leave a dent, not at Singh, but at himself, for being so easy to use.
I want to report a
4:15
break-in.
p.m.
This is
Zaveri
Sharma,
walks to the
Opera
telephone
House
line.
Jewelers.
The recruits
Send police
reconnected an hour
immediately.
earlier, back when they still believed the raid was almost over, and finally makes the call he should have made the moment Singh first walked out the door, to the real police.
Police.
2 police vans arrive within
Put your
minutes,
hands up now.
sirens cutting through Opera House traffic. What the officers find inside
Hands up,
is
I
almost
said.
too strange to process. The men who an hour ago looked like a federal task force now stand with their hands raised, badges scattered on the floor around
didn't
them,
know.
like
We didn't know.
confetti after
We
a
thought it was
party
real.
that ended badly. They don't resist.
We thought we were working with
They
the government.
can't. They're too stunned to do anything but explain, over and over, that they genuinely thought they were the police. In the hours that follow, Bombay's actual investigators try to piece together exactly what happened to them,
The
and the
fake
shape
badges
of
are
it
gone.
only gets
Line up.
stranger the more they learn. A classified
We found
ad,
these IDs on
a
them.
5-star
You'll be
hotel
processed
suite,
one by one.
a tour bus normally bound for the Elephanta Caves, cold drinks at Chowpatty Beach as cover for a final briefing. Whoever did this didn't improvise a single piece of it. He built it, weeks in advance, the way an architect builds a building. The papers christen it the Great Bombay Impersonation Heist, before the ink on the police report is even dry. Detectives, stunned by how badly they've been played, trace Singh back to the Taj, where hotel records confirm a man under that name checked into room 415 on March 17th. When they search the suite, it's already been stripped clean. No documents, no personal effects, not even a discarded receipt. The only solid lead comes from a bellboy, who remembers Singh returning to the hotel after the robbery, perfectly calm, to ask the concierge to call him a taxi. The driver they eventually
Concierge,
tracked down
could you please
remembers
call me a
dropping a
taxi?
well-dressed man in the
It's quite
suburb of
urgent.
Ville-Parle, where he transferred his briefcases into a waiting auto rickshaw and sent the taxi away with a wave. From there, the trail simply stops. Singh and $400,000 in gold and cash disappear into a city of 20 million people, as though neither had ever existed. A nationwide alert goes out. An address tied to the name leads nowhere. A man in Trivandrum is briefly detained on a tip and released within hours, with zero connection to the case. A rumor places Singh on a flight to Dubai. It goes nowhere either. Every
Nothing
lead
here.
anyone chases dies the same quiet death. The
We checked
26
the records.
recruits, after
This is
days
it.
of intense questioning,
This isn't him.
are cleared of
Let him
any
go.
intentional wrongdoing. Investigators conclude what should have been obvious
We
from
checked
the
everything.
moment they were found standing in surrender with their hands raised. They were tools, not thieves.
Pawns recruited specifically because they would never think to ask the one question that would have ended everything before it began. As for the man who built all of it, theories outlast facts. Some investigators believe he had real experience inside law enforcement, a former officer perhaps, who knew exactly how a warrant should look and exactly how a commanding voice should sound, because he'd used both for real once. Others believe he had help nobody ever identified, someone scouting the target weeks in advance, someone forging the documents, someone arranging for the bus. Nobody can prove any of it. The evidence that might have settled the question left Bombay in an auto rickshaw on the afternoon of March 19th, and it never came back. What's left behind is a name that was almost certainly never real, a case file that has never closed, and a story so unlikely that a decade later it becomes the basis for a Bollywood film. The man at the center of it is never found, never named, never explained.
He remains exactly what he made himself, the moment he walked into that hotel lobby. A stranger in a good suit that everyone trusted on sight, and nobody ever saw clearly enough to find again. 26 men once stood in a hotel suite and told a stranger they would follow orders without question, because they believed that was the price of finally becoming something. Somewhere out there, the man who asked them that question never needed a weapon, a getaway car, or a single threat to take everything he wanted. He only needed 26 people willing to say yes, sir, before they understood what they were agreeing to. The badge was fake. The warrant was fake. The only thing in that jewelry store on March 19th, 1987, that was completely real was how easily everyone in it, the guard, the owner, the traffic constable who saluted them through traffic, the 26 men who believed they had finally arrived, agreed to see exactly what they were told to see.